Warning: the video you're about to see contains sad footage and stories of the people in Mexico. If you're looking for a video to laugh at, go check out my Truth or Dare. I am not trying to make this video to make you all sad, just trying to help you understand. Thank you.
What's up everybody, just MaddyGirl here, and today I'm going to tell you guys about my Mexico trip. So, when I was in Mexico, I went down and we rebuilt a daycare. Now, that might seem like I was getting paid for this. No, I was not getting paid, it was a mission trip. Now, this daycare, what it is called is, the foundation that we go to is called the Welcome Home Foundation, which I should leave a link in the description so you guys can go check out their website. Well, anyways, what they do is they build homes for families who are literally living in pallet houses and tarps. Now this may not sound like that bad to you. I mean, there's people here who don't even have pallets and stuff. But they don't have anything. Basically, how I understand it of what has happened was it was a whole group of people who lived on this mountain, and they got pulled down from the mountain being promised all this great stuff, and then they basically got thrown into poverty, and they are now living in nothing. They're eating, they don't really have very much money, they only have money to get food. So what this daycare is, it's with the outreach, by the way. So this daycare, what they do is they drive around in this big bus and they go and they pick up children who while their parents go and work in the fields, the kids are basically left alone at home with nothing to do. They don't have an education, they don't get any of that, because in Mexico, if they want preschool and kindergarten and stuff, you have to pay for it. You start school there, I believe at first grade, I think it was, I'm not sure. But you can't get preschool and kindergarten without paying money. And also, you have to buy uniforms to go to school. So, anyways, these kids, they need to learn preschool and kindergarten in order to be successful in school. So what this daycare does is they drive around and they pick up the kids to the compound. They bring the kids back to the compound and they clean them up, they give them a bath and stuff, and then they get them all dressed, and then they give them breakfast, which a lot of families can't really provide. So we feed them and stuff, and then after they get fed, they all go up into a classroom over in this daycare area, and they get taught a lesson. They get to learn how to, I don't know if they get to learn how to read, but they get to learn their alphabet, they get to learn English, they get to learn a little bit of English and stuff, which is really nice. And they also they get to have fun and everything. And the younger kids who are pretty young, they just get to go and play, and yes, they do learn their alphabet and stuff like that. So, the daycare, what happened to it, why we had to rebuild it was the roof was rotting. And as you know, if a roof is rotting and stuff, it can be very hazardous to people's health. It can be hazardous if it falls and stuff. It's just not a good mix. So also, while they were doing that, a lot of plumbing and electrical problems were happening. So basically, they demolished the roof, they took out all the plumbing and all the electrical, and we had to redo it. When we got there, it looked like that nothing was done in it, basically. There was only the metal beams ready for insulation and drywall. There was plywood on the roof. There wasn't felt, there wasn't shingles, there was nothing on the roof. They didn't even have the holes cut out for the skylights. So, basically when we got there, they just expected us to get the roof done and maybe some drywall. When we left, we had the roof done with the skylights installed, and we also had the drywall, the roof with the skylights, we had the shingles down, we had the waterproofing, we even got to redo the staircase, which was, it's for the groups that go and stay there, they have to go up into their dorm areas. The staircase needed redone and repainted, so we redid that. And then we even got to redo a bench. My sister and I, we also did it was furniture. Some people came and donated a ton of furniture and stuff, and in order for the school to keep going, they need to update the furniture and stuff like that because it'll be falling apart. So the teachers went through and they picked everything out, and we pulled all the good stuff aside and put all the bad stuff in a dump truck, and then put everything of the good stuff back. And that was a lot of fun. So we also got to go picking in the fields, because that is what a lot of people's jobs are there. They go and they pick in the fields for starting at the crack of dawn. Literally, they're up before dawn. So at the crack of dawn, these people are in the fields picking, and they usually get off, I think, at about 3 or 4. So it's a long day's work, and they only get paid enough to pay for the food, to only get food for that month. So it's not really fair in any way. The WHO also provides clothes to these families. So if they need clothing or if they need anything, basically, the WHO will try to help provide for them. So also, what we did down there, we also got to go to this nursing home. Now, it wasn't technically a nursing home. I mean, all these elderly people, what they're called are the untouchables. And the reason why they're called the untouchables is not because they're all high up and fancy and you can't touch them kind of a deal. No. The reason they are called the untouchables is because they are the people in society where it's considered not clean to touch these people. You can't give them a handshake or a hug. It's not considered right in Mexico. These are elderly people from about in their 60s, 70s. Some of them are in their 60s or 50s because of mental disorders. But basically their families, when they get too old, they dump them in dumpsters and they leave them on the side of the road to die. So these people are thrown out of their families. The people who loved them and stuff, they get thrown out and put in dumpsters to die. So basically what this man did when he started up this home for them was he gets a bus. A lot of people like buses down there, but they got a bus and they drive around and find people. Now this is the part that really struck me. Was last year, this man was brought a baby. Someone had dropped a newborn baby in a dumpster. She is the most beautiful thing I have ever seen in my life. He didn't tell anyone she was abandoned. He just showed her off as his daughter. He is raising her as his daughter, and he is the very proud father of her. It hurts to think that someone could abandon a newborn in a trash can. Now, I'm not one to bond with people. I more felt horrible for the dogs that I saw down there. I mean, I saw at least 4 or 5 dogs who all had mange and were laying on the road to die. I couldn't touch them because that was one of the rules when we went down there, was you can't touch the animals. You can touch, there was one dog that we were allowed to play with, and that was a dog at a school. It was the school dog, so that dog had bath, it had been to the vet, it had had shots and stuff like that. It was okay to touch that dog. But every other dog, you couldn't touch it. Which, it kind of was hard because I love animals that much to the point of which I wanted to just adopt all of them, clean them up, and bring them into the U.S. and find these animals good homes. But it kind of was stupid because there were people down there who needed the same exact thing. And I felt bad for the dogs. Call me heartless, that's just how I was. So also while we were down there, we got to go to a church. There was a church, and it was where all the poor people came. Like, there were churches in town, and there were churches away from town and everything. But the churches in town were kind of nicer, I guess. But the churches out of town were closer to the people. They were literally in their villages and stuff. So we got to go to a church like that, and there were dozens and dozens of children. I actually got to meet a little girl. Her name is Jasmine, and I felt horrible for this child because when she came up to me, when I met her, she was laying on the tire swing, just spinning in circles. So I made her sick, kind of, and just kept spinning her. But then I got to actually look at her, and she needed a bath, and she had her shirt, it had a whole rip down the side, so the seam, she had seams in her shirts from the sides where it had been stitched up prior to anything, but it was a huge rip from here to here. And she didn't have shoes on, she didn't have sandals or anything like that. Her hair was kind of braided back. It wasn't exactly. But I also met another little girl, and I do not remember her name, but I feel horrible, but you guys will see what she looks like. She was hilarious. She kept jumping up on my back and just trying to pop bubbles. And in the pictures, she just couldn't hold still. She was so excited to see us. We made balloon animals for these kids, and we also just hung out with them and played with them. And it was so much fun. I mean, I didn't like kids when I went down there. Like, I'll have my weeks where one week I'll be, oh, it's a baby, it's a cute, adorable little baby, and I'll be all crazy about it. But then the next week I'll be like, ew, it's a child, get it away from me. I'm not crazy about kids. So I do love kids and everything like that. It's just, I wasn't crazy about hanging out with kids that time. But these two little girls really opened my eyes and helped me see that they are adorable and awesome. We visited families that they had built houses for in the past. Now this trip we did not build a house. We did the daycare, and that was it. So anyways, the houses that they had built before had families living in them. And these are nice sound houses. But they don't look like the houses we live in today. Like, they don't have drywall in them, and they don't have everything else in them. They are cinder block houses, and they also have nice roofs and everything like that. So literally to us they look like a shack. So yeah, that's basically the summary. I might do a part 2 video to this because there's still a lot more I want to tell you guys, but if I keep talking it'll probably be an hour long. So if you guys like this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up and to subscribe for more. So I will see you guys all later. Bye bye everybody. But it is extremely bitter.